My job was simple: keep her alive. It didn't say anything about keeping my distance. Every time I looked at her, I felt the bullet that was meant for her hit me instead, a sweet, slow poison I couldn't block. My name is Cyrus, and I was about to break the one rule that kept us both safe: don't fall for the assignment. Cyrus has been in love with her for years, but she doesn't know about it. He is just a bodyguard doing his duty to protect her from harm. But what if one day the tables turn? What if one day she needs his protection not from the outside, but from inside? That's exactly what happens in today's story. Let's begin. A young woman named Aria lived in a world where danger lurked around every corner. Her father, a renowned scientist, had made powerful enemies, and now his work was attracting unwanted attention from dangerous individuals. In an attempt to keep her safe, Aria's father hired a bodyguard, a man named Cyrus, whose sole responsibility was to ensure her well-being. Cyrus had been a soldier in the past, but now he was working for a private security firm. He was tall, muscular, and had a face that could launch 1,000 ships. She had never noticed him before, not really. She knew he was there, but she didn't care. Now, however, she couldn't help but acknowledge him. She saw him jogging alongside her, his steps silent and sure-footed. She noticed the way his muscles tensed and strained against his uniform, the way his eyes scanned the surroundings, always alert. And she couldn't help but admire the dedication and focus he brought to his job. But Cyrus had no idea that Aria was even aware of his existence. He was trained to be observant, but his attention was solely focused on the task at hand, making sure Aria stayed safe. He didn't have time for anything else. Well, that was until one day when everything changed. It was a rainy, gloomy day. Aria and Cyrus were in the car together. She was driving while he sat in the passenger seat, his usual spot, staring out into the rain-streaked window. Suddenly, a sleek black car pulled up alongside them. Two men jumped out, their faces hidden under the shadows of their hoodies. "Get out," one of them growled, his voice a low, menacing rumble. Aria's heart pounded against her ribs. Who are these people? What did they want? Before she could respond, Cyrus was out of the car and in front of her, shielding her with his body. "Go back in the house," he ordered, his voice low and urgent. "I'll handle this." But then something unexpected happened. One of the men lunged at Cyrus, and in a flash, Cyrus was on the ground, a sharp object protruding from his chest. Aria screamed, rushing to his side. "I'm sorry," the man said, his voice dripping with malice. Looks like we got the wrong package." They had meant to kidnap Aria's father, not Cyrus. But now that they had made their mistake, with a cruel laugh, they disappeared into the rain, leaving Aria kneeling beside the man she had barely acknowledged for weeks. All this time, her bodyguard, her protector, lay wounded at her feet. As the rain poured down, blurring the world into shades of gray, Aria knew she had to act fast. The life of the man who had silently guarded her for so long was in her hands. In that moment, all the admiration and the subtle fantasies she had harbored about Cyrus came crashing down. This was no longer the man she had a crush on. This was a person in need of help, and she needed to act quickly. Without panicking, she took a deep breath. First things first, she needed to get Cyrus to safety. With a surge of adrenaline, she helped him up and guided him towards her car. Her hands trembled as she dialed 911, her voice shaking as she explained the situation. Then she turned back to Cyrus, his face ashen, his breathing shallow. She could see the pain etched on his face, the way his muscles tensed with every breath. As the sirens wailed in the distance, Aria knew she had to do everything she could to keep him alive. This was no longer about her feelings for Cyrus or the fantasy she had built up in her head. This was about saving a life, about honoring the man who had put his own life on the line to protect her. This is where our story ends. But if you wish to continue this thrilling tale, let your imagination run wild. How does Cyrus react when he finds out about Aria's feelings for him? Does he feel the same way about her? How do they navigate the dangerous world they find themselves in? Subscribe to see what happened next. Smash the like button. Comment below with your thoughts and share with your friends.